In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to split a table into separate sheets based on a column value in Excel. To begin, you will start with the source data that you want to split. In your worksheet, locate the table and make sure it includes the headers, because headers help Excel understand the field names for the pivot setup. Now select your entire source table, including headers from cells A1 to B7. As you do this, confirm that you are highlighting both the header row and all rows beneath it. Take a moment to double-check that you have captured everything, since the rest of the process depends on the correct data range. Next, you will create a pivot table based on that selection. Go to the Insert tab on the ribbon. This is where Excel provides tools for building pivot-based summaries. Once you are on the Insert tab, click Pivot Table, and then click OK to open a new sheet. When the pivot table is created, Excel typically prepares an empty pivot layout on a separate worksheet. This new sheet is where you will configure the fields so the pivot can generate separate report pages. Now that the pivot table area is open, you will assign a split column. You will use the column that contains the values you want Excel to separate into different sheets. For example, if your split column is something like category, that is the field you will use for the grouping. Drag your split column into the filters area quadrant. As you place it there, the pivot will treat each unique value from that column as a separate page. This step is what tells Excel how to divide the output into multiple reports. After that, you need to place the remaining fields so Excel knows what to display on each generated sheet. Drag your remaining fields into the rows or values quadrants. Think of rows as the structure for what appears down the left side of the report, and values as what gets summarized, such as counts, totals, or other calculations. If your remaining columns include things you want to list, put them into rows. If you want to calculate or summarize a numeric field, put it into values. As you drag each field, watch the pivot layout update so you can confirm that the summary looks correct. Once the pivot is set up, the next part is turning the filter-driven pivot into multiple sheets. Move to the Pivot Table Analyze tab on the active ribbon. This tab appears when your pivot table is selected, and it contains the tools for working with pivot reports and options. Click it so you can access the report page settings. Now you will generate the separate sheets. Look to the far left of the Pivot Table Analyze tab, and click the small arrow next to Options. This opens additional settings related to the pivot report. After you open that Options menu, choose the command that says Show Report Filter Pages, and then hit OK. This is the key action that tells Excel to create separate worksheets for each unique value in your pivot filter. Excel will automatically generate the additional sheets based on the filter selections, which means you will see multiple report tabs appear. To confirm everything worked as expected, briefly scan the new sheets. Each sheet should correspond to a different value from your split column, and the contents should match the pivot configuration you set earlier with rows and values. If anything looks off, the usual place to fix it is the pivot layout, such as ensuring you drag the correct field into the filters area and that the other fields are in the intended rows or values quadrants. And that covers everything you need to know. And that is all there is to it.